I can deal with the pressure of the actual work being so high and whatnot. But what you are never really prepared for is some of the dynamics that you have to pass through as a young lady, especially in the engineering.
So maybe to just give me an overview of the type of the challenges that you maybe faced as a lady when you started working.
First of all, the gender cards that gets thrown around, that because you're a girl, we don't expect you to, and whatnot. So that's very limiting.
Okay.
And to a certain point, it's very discouraging.
Yeah.
Because then you also have, already when we are brought up as young African ladies, the system of being a girl and being a guy. With me, I always believe that it's actually, we are aware that we're not perfect, and we're trying to find a way that's going to assist us to stay in line.
Something really concerning. If you look at the number of subscriptions on this channel, you'll see that it's very low. It hurts me. It doesn't make me happy. So if you're new on this channel, or you've been watching our videos and you love what we do and you would like to support us, kindly hit that subscribe button, like and share the video with your loved ones. This will help to grow this channel to reach multitudes all around the world, because that is the plan, to keep on inspiring and motivating people around the world to become the best in whatever you do, to become successful in whatever way that you wish to become successful. So thank you very much for hitting that subscribe button, because I believe that by now you have subscribed. You haven't? Thank you. Okay, enjoy the video. What's up, visionaries? Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Vision. And today I'm not alone. As you can see, I have a big sister who happens to be my colleague, a wonderful person, very kind. She's an industrial engineer. I'm right.
Yes.
Okay. She's an industrial engineer, and she's been in corporate for quite some time. That I believe she has some valuable information that she can share about her experiences and some of the challenges that she had in her quest of her career in engineering. So everyone, welcome. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm saying your name correctly. Is it Mogau or Mogau?
Mogau. With a G, because it's
Mogau.
Yes, Mogau with a G.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mogau, not Mogau.
Yes.
Because I've been
I allow people to call me Mogau because at least it does not lose meaning. Because majority of the times I've realized that people struggle with the G because obviously, they speak different languages. So the tongue is not used to the G. But not to make it difficult for them, I allow them to call them Mogau because that's in Tswana also too.
Oh, so it has similar meaning.
Has similar meaning, yes.
Oh,
yes. Oh, yeah, but it's actually Mogau.
Yeah.
Yasipedi.
Yasipedi.
Yeah.
You're Pedi.
I'm Pedi.
From Limpopo, eh?
Originally from Limpopo.
Yeah, cool. I come from Limpopo, by the way, as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And I've noticed that Tswana, Pedi, and Sotho. One person can say it's the same language. It's like they're similar. Most of the things are similar.
Yeah, they're very similar. They're like your Nguni languages. There's where there's a difference. For example, when we use our G's, they would use their H. Or when they say tsa, who would say cha.
Oh.
That those small differences. And also some words also a bit they don't necessarily mean the same thing.
Yeah.
But for the most part, honestly, they're just almost one and the same thing, because I think one originates from another one. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, that is my language. Very unique and different from all the other ones. Venda.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very unique.
Many people struggle with learning Venda.
Yeah.
Yeah, many people struggle with learning Venda.
But I also think, for people to start getting used to Venda, I think people really need to speak it more frequently.
Because I think, Tina, we have an issue of compromising a lot.
Yeah.
Because we also know that Venda is not as easy to understand. So we kind of try to accommodate other people.
Yeah.
And if there are people who can speak many languages in South Africa, it's Venda people.
Definitely. I think
because
Venda
try to
and
accommodate.
True. Venda and Tsongas actually are the most multilingual people you'll ever meet in South Africa. And I think they're more open to learning because, like you said, they also, but at the same time, they compromise themselves.
Yeah.
I think at some point they need to find a balance between not compromising yourself a lot, so that also people can learn your side of things.
Yeah.
Imagine having to travel to Limpopo and then it's a vendor dominating area and then you don't even know how to speak it. Yet you have to assist the elderly or the younger ones. So that's how I usually think about it. If somebody had to go into my space one day, would they at least know the basics?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why varsity, workplace and whatnot, I speak very, very fluently and I make sure to a certain point now, at some point people try to understand it and try to learn it because I understand that at some point it will serve its significance.
No, that's understandable.
Yeah.
How are you doing? How have you been? How's life?
Life is life. Life is life, but life is good. Life is good. Life is what you tell, yourself that it is. We try by all means to survive each and every day.
Yeah.
But we're good. We're good. How is life?
Well, we're trying. Yeah, every day, it's not always easy.
Yeah.
It's not always roses and gold and whatever, but we juggle through it.
True.
Especially in this age that we are at. It's some kind of a very serious age. I don't like it. I don't like it because being in this age is like you are forced, not by anyone, but by just the nature of things. You are forced to be focused and have something that I'm working on.
That is true.
So it's always a hassle every day waking up, but yeah, we keep going. We're keeping up. And most importantly, we're trying by all means to be happy through all circumstances.
True.
So it's very important.
Yeah.
So what can you say about your academic background? Where did you study? Maybe from high school and varsity. Okay.
So first things first, I was born in Limpopo, and I went to my primary school in Limpopo, Jehopo Primary School. Then I went to high school, which was Terikobe Senior High, which was also in Limpopo. And then I moved after that to Joburg to study industrial engineering at Johannesburg at one of the varsities there. And then I did my advanced diploma in industrial engineering at another also accredited institution in South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there any other challenge that you faced when you were in high school that you can think of right now?
I think majority of the challenges that I had honestly was not academic. I think it was more social. I think for the most part of high school, I try not to conform to, standards of what people want you to behave like, what people want you to look like, what people want you to, how people want you to move. I've always struggled with that, but I've managed to actually remain within myself and remain within what I believe should be or how I believe I should be. I think it helps a lot while navigating life, adolescent, especially as a girl, as a young girl. I think it's very important for you to always stay disciplined. And for me, I think that's what made me remain grounded and also help forge my way, because if it wasn't for that, I think could have easily turned into something that I did not want to become.
Right. Would you say you were What kind of a person would you say you were when you were in high school? Were you that grounded, obedient kid to your parents, or you were troublesome at some point?
I think I was, honestly, I don't think my parents ever struggled with me and my twin sister, because I also have a twin sister.
Yeah, by the way, I noticed on your profile picture that how.
Yeah, so I have a
There's someone who looks identical to you.
Yes, I have a twin sister. So for me, honestly, from primary school to my varsity years, I don't think I have ever been a troublesome kid.
Yeah.
I think if you go to primary school now, to my primary school now, they still remember me.
Yeah,
the teachers who were there.
You were a good kid.
I was a good kid. Also, was doing quite good at school. So maybe that's what also helped in everything, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's a different story with me because
look, you don't have to tell me twice. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, every journey of my life, I always remember of different stories. In primary school, I have stories. In high school, I have stories. In varsity, I was quite a naughty kid. But sometimes it's fun when I wasn't naughty in a way of talking back to teachers or talking back to anyone or elderly people. No, I was just naughty of making noise in the class, just being goofy all the time, laughing all the time and whatever. So that's what makes it fun,
Yeah.
So I would say that. Yeah. But I wasn't really a troublesome kid, Well, to my mom, a bit.
Yeah.
To a point where there was a time when my mom used to beat me almost every day. Almost every day. I was in primary school. So she told us no one has to enter this household after 5. It was like she was talking to someone who's not hearing her, who's not there. I would go to the football practice and then come back past 6. I know I'm going to be beaten, but I don't care. I just don't care, So
I guess we were the total opposite, because I've always been afraid of getting on the wrong side of the law. Could be my parents, could be at school, could be at work. I think I've just been that coward. But it helped me stay in line. Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. So I guess we're the opposite when it comes to that.
Yeah, we're opposite. But her trying to discipline me the way she did, she really built who I am today.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes I used to wonder, because the way she used to discipline me is not the same as the way she disciplines my brother.
Okay.
And sometimes I'd be angry because my brother will do something. He's my younger brother. He'll do something similar, but she won't discipline him the way she did with me. I was like, you used to beat me. Why are you not beating this one? But growing up, I started to understand, and seeing some of the experiences that she's going through.
Yeah.
I started to understand, okay, I'm a firstborn.
Yeah.
And some of the things, she were not just being aggressive because she was hating me or whatever. No, she wanted me to become something valuable in life, to end the situation that she was kind of going through, and that's where I started to understand, okay, cool, I see now. Yeah. So it's just those little things that happen when you're young and you feel like your parent hates you.
No, I fully get that. I fully get that, because when my siblings explain my mom as compared to how she parented us, it's quite different. Yeah. And I think that it also has a lot to do with your first time experience being a parent, or your first time experience doing anything. As time goes on, you evolve. You know how to handle situations better than how you've been handling them. It's the same concept, I think, with parenting. Yeah. I see it with myself. I'm not a parent as yet, but I see it with myself when it comes to my nieces and my nephews. How I used to be back then and how I am now. Yeah. Because also things change, socially, there's been a lot of changes, worldwide, not just in the country. So, we're trying to also break generational curses while we are at that. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of dynamics which are at play, which I think, our parents are also trying to adapt to.
Yeah, true. There's a lot of change that parents in this generation, they are no longer the same as the parents in the past generations.
That is true.
And our parents, they are trying to accommodate, or to adapt to the change that is occurring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah.
So how was your journey studying industrial engineering?
Yeah. Studying industrial engineering. First of all, I did not just start by studying industrial engineering.
Yeah.
I remember after high school, the first varsity I went to was in Pretoria.
Okay.
And there I actually chose food science, basic food science and technology.
Okay.
And part of it, I think, was majority of the times. I did as part of my subjects in high school, I did agricultural sciences. So I loved agric, and especially when it came to food science and some of the topics that related to food and an end. So I fell in love with the idea of becoming one of the food scientists in this country. But I had my fair share of challenges when it came to financials. And I remember it being June and I had to make a decision. So at that point, I was so stressed out and I decided, you know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home. And also because in that process, I became ill. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go home and just think about what I want to do for the remaining 6 months. In that remaining 6 months, I actually still wanted to do food science and technology. But then I realized, sciences, am I really into sciences?
Yeah.
And as I went along, I started thinking about chemical engineering, and I said, I don't want something that restricts me.
Okay.
So I was thinking more like management, engineering, something that strikes a balance between those disciplines and science as well, because in industrial, I think you use the different disciplines to actually try to integrate the different resources that a company utilizes for you guys to solve complex problems, solve complex systems. So, and then I think I did call one of the institutions, which I eventually went to, and that's when I said, okay, can you please just, if you don't mind, take me through this one, because we've been hearing about mechanical, we've been hearing about chemical, we've been hearing about civil engineering, but no one actually ever spoke about industrial engineering. If you think about it, majority of the times when you're in high school, there are traditional engineering disciplines which they speak about, but industrial is never really one of them. And I said, can you please take me through that? And she explained, and then immediately I knew this is what I want to do, because also I don't like being restricted. If I feel like the more I get restricted, the more I get frustrated. I want to have the liberty to choose. If I wanted to change, I want to change. That's how my mind works. So I am not someone who enjoy doing one thing over and over again, and not have the liberty to just branch out and whatnot. And that's how I fell in love with industrial engineering, actually. Yeah.
But it being one of the engineering courses, I know it wasn't easy. I know it wasn't easy. How did you balance, having a life university and also balancing your subjects and making sure that you pass your modules and all that?
So there's always a time for everything, and I think immediately when you get in tune with that, you're able to, control your activities, control your social life and your academic life. If, for example, if I get busy during the day with my social things, at night I know then it's time for studying. I would get home, rest from that, from that social space, rest, recuperate, so that I can get my mind tuned into what I want to do at night. And then be a night owl. But if I'm busy at night, in the morning, I know that after I come back from wherever I was, then it's time for me to actually do my, try study and whatnot. I've never been, I don't think I'm so much of a hard worker, but I've always tried to find easier ways of doing things. So I think that also assisted in the journey, because there are people who believe I need 10 hours to study.
Yeah.
And that those who find ways that they can minimize the studying, but it actually, it's still very informative and still very easy to understand. So I've been those type of people. So yeah, I think that really assisted.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that university changes people.
Yeah.
I was not changed by university, but I've seen a lot of people being changed by being in varsity and being in this space where you can do whatever you want at any moment that you want.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can say, okay, I had this value or this quality when I was still in high school?
Absolutely.
As part of being disciplined. But when I went to varsity, I kind of lost my way and became someone else that I was not. Was there ever something like that with you?
Honestly, I would say in varsity, funny enough with me, I actually started going to church a lot.
Okay.
Unlike, how others do it.
Yeah.
You go to church when you're in high school, and then in varsity, it's, my parents don't see me.
Don't see me, so I'm not going.
Yeah, so with me, I actually started going to church a lot while I was in varsity, because for me, it was very important, because I know people say whatever they want to say, but I think it was very important for me to get something that will always remind me of who I am, where I'm from, and what keeps me grounded.
Yeah.
And also to help me stay disciplined. That people believe church-going people are judgmental, but with me, I always believe that it's actually, we are aware that we're not perfect, and we're trying to find a way that's going to assist us to stay in line and stay disciplined. I think for as long as you have something that grounds you, you will always remain focused, and you will always remember. Like, you will do certain things because we're not perfect as human beings.
Yeah.
But there will always be something at the back of your head that whatever you're doing is wrong, and at some point you're gonna have to leave it. So for me, that's where I sort of found myself majority of the times. If I'm not with my friends, if I'm not with if I'm not studying, then where am I? What's going to assist me stay sane, especially with the challenges that you have during varsity, because it's not always as smooth sailing as it looks.
True,
so for me, I think the one thing that really assisted me is stay true to myself and stay true to who I really want to become. It's definitely church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time where you felt like you want to give up when you were studying?
No. I think after my experience at the first university, for me, the second experience actually became better because I knew better.
Yeah.
As much as it was a short period of time, but actually I knew better. And also when I came in, the biggest hurdle, which was the financials, was sorted, because then I got a bursary which funded me from the first year till I did my practicals, till I was working.
Yeah.
And they were funding everything from accommodation,
that's great,
also giving our allowance. Like, everything was just sorted. So everything that used to be a hurdle for me was just smoothed out.
Yeah. No, that's very wonderful.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about moving from varsity to the workplace.
Yeah.
How was the transition from varsity to the workplace? How did you adapt to that?
Oh my God. That was 2019. Yeah, 2019. That's when I transitioned from varsity to the workspace.
Okay, 2019.
Yep.
This is funny.
Yep.
I was in grade 10.
Yeah, I know.
I was in grade 10.
Yeah. So it was not easy. It was not easy at all. Here you are thinking you have everything figured out. You think you have an idea of how things are gonna go.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get into Workspace and make those changes that you were always told about in school. Especially because with our discipline, it's about improving processes. How do we simplify the complex things? How do we simplify things which makes it difficult to work?
Yeah.
And how do we make more from less? Because I think that's what industrial engineers really try and focus on. And then came working time. It was such a difficulty. And majority of the times I try to avoid speaking about it because I don't want to have to use the gender card, because for some, they use it as a leeway to say, yeah, this is the problem with women working. But the problem is, if you haven't walked in our shoes, you would never really understand. Maybe it needs to hit closer to home so that you can really have an understanding of what of what it really, the mental toll it takes on you when you start experiencing things which you never thought you would experience in the workspace.
Yeah.
Because I can deal with people being difficult at work. I can deal with the pressure of the actual work being so high and whatnot. But what you are never really prepared for is some of the dynamics that you have to pass through as a young lady, especially in the engineering space. Yeah.
Maybe to just share more of that. You don't need to get into detail, but to just share more on that. What kind of the challenge that you would say you faced as a lady in engineering? Because I know that it's some people don't even ignore talking about it because they feel like, okay, now it's segregating based on gender, but it's something that is real, and it's happening in different companies out there. And I know there are many women who may be in industries like this, engineering, that they are not actually enjoying what they're doing. You find that a person even went to varsity, they wanted to do engineering because they love it, but now they're working, they're not enjoying it. So maybe to just give me an overview of the type of the challenges that you maybe faced as a lady when you started working.
So at some point, I think not just in my first year working, but like I always tell this to, my younger sisters or my younger nieces.
Are you a firstborn?
No, I'm last born.
The last born?
I'm the last born.
Okay.
Me and my twin sister are the last born.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to find a way that I can put this so that it's not offensive, or it does not, spark some some unnecessary attention.
Yeah.
But one of the most difficult challenges a young girl will have to face at some point, or if they're lucky enough to never face it, is first of all, the gender cards that gets thrown around, that because you're a girl, we don't expect you to, and whatnot. So that's very limiting.
Okay.
And to a certain point, it's very discouraging.
Yeah.
Because then you also have, already when we are brought up as young African ladies, the system of being a girl and being a guy, and they teach you different roles.
Okay.
And from the moment you start growing up, you feel as if your potential is limited as compared to, what your other counterpart is exposed to.
Yeah.
For example, they will limit you to washing dishes, cooking, and whatnot. But your dad won't call you to come and help you fix the car with him.
Okay.
But if you think about it, our counterparts have an opportunity to learn best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Because the dad can call them, and if they like mommy enough, sometimes they will sit with mommy in the kitchen and they actually learn, that's how you make soup. That's how you make pap.
Yeah.
And so with us it's very limiting, because then you're just like, you're a girl, and you must not get hurt.
You can't do this.
Yeah, you can't do this and whatnot. So then you move into the workspace. It's almost similar. It's just that it manifests different, because now it's different. Like it's different. It's a different space.
Yeah.
And also another thing that has been the biggest challenge is to almost it's almost difficult to not find yourself in a very difficult position with your other counterparts, especially if the agenda is not genuine. I don't know if you get where I'm going with this.
I get it.
Yeah, because you will think someone is assisting because it's the workspace. They want to see you, do well, and there's a hidden agenda.
Okay.
And then you have to now start to say, oh, okay. Then all of a sudden we are in the space. Then all of a sudden we are in the space, and then there's a difference in the demeanor, in what's been said, in how it's been said. And you have to try and find a way. You need to, find a way you sneak around those with you, like just respectfully saying, no, this is not why I'm here. Or this is not what I'm here for. And also, trying to maintain that good relationship with your colleagues who are of a different gender. So it's one of those challenges. Maybe one day I'll be brave enough to share some of the things, like quite bluntly, but for now I think that's been some of the most difficult challenges as a lady in engineering, or in a male dominated area, if I may say. And when I did try and find out with the other ladies and whatnot, some are experiencing it now. Some have experienced it. It's just people hardly talk about it, because then in the end you don't want to seem as if, you're a crybaby. That's why we were supposed to stay at home and whatnot. Because each and every day we try not to play the gender card a lot, so that we are able to actually excel and people see above, what you didn't choose. We didn't choose to, I didn't choose to be a lady.
Yeah, true.
I just happened to be a lady. So my potential needs to, it needs to rise above being just a lady to being just like a normal professional, just like the rest of them. So
Well, I think I get you. I really get you. For the first one, it's kind of crazy, because I believe that some companies or some people, you might find that they're doing it, and in their mindset they're not thinking, okay, by saying you, because you are a lady, we can't assign certain assignments to you. Some you might find that they are thinking, no, they're just feeling for you. This is too much of hard work. And because you are a lady, whatever. Not thinking that might be affecting you in a negative way.
That is very
true. What I mean? But on the other hand, I think it's something that there must be a balance.
Between, I agree.
As much as there may be some things that we think ladies can't do, let it be strictly something that maybe because of your strength,
physical strength. True.
You can't do. But if it's something that doesn't involve physical strength, it's all about the mindset and working hard. I think we should all be given a chance.
That is true. True, and true, and I agree, because there are also equally men who've helped me elevate in my career by being very supportive, by trying to show me the ropes of how corporate works, or how manufacturing works, how packaging worked. Because if when I look at my journey, I think I would like to believe that there are particular moments where our counterpart has played a huge role in terms of what I've became, and I do understand the different dynamics that also plays out in the different genders, and sometimes it's not just about gender. Sometimes it's really about what really are you capable of doing, and which makes a lot of sense. Like you just explained that, if I'm looking at like an 80 kg, I'm not going to carry that. I know I'm not going to carry that. So why am I even forcing? Because I'm trying to prove a point. So but when it comes to things which now have to challenge your intellectual, your thinking in an end, I think that's where now we need to make sure that we give both counterparts equal opportunities to prove themselves and also to grow themselves.
True.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do Do you think you want to stay in corporate working for the rest of your life, or you'd love to be a housewife one day, just relax, or have a business?
Look, the idea of a housewife sounds great. But I know myself, I would get so bored. I would get so bored.
Is it?
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't want to stay in corporate for a long time.
Yeah.
There is some aspirations to start my own entities, which is in the pipeline. Just I haven't given it a timeline because I don't know when, I'll knock on the right doors and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I don't limit myself when it comes to that. I don't see age. I don't see all these other things. All I know is that there's a goal.
Yeah.
And it's being worked towards so that's the most important thing. But I don't think I want to stay in corporate for a long time. If I do, that means I would be enjoying what I would be doing at that point. And also if I have the opportunity to change, as I had mentioned to you, that I don't like sitting in one space for a long time.
Yeah.
So maybe I will just stay in corporate. But majority of the times when I sit down and I think about it, I do not plan on staying for a long time. Yeah, but I also wouldn't mind also spending the rest of my life in it, as long as I'm moving, as long as I'm growing, as long as I'm elevating. And I think that's the most important thing for me.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And if for anything that you may want to work on outside, being employed and everything, I think the most important thing to do is to just start.
Absolutely.
You may not have all the resources that you need or all the equipment that you need for starting something that you want to start, but just start that little, just that little energy to just start wherever you can.
That is true.
Honestly, I mean, it's the most important thing. Putting down your plans, writing them down. Okay, this is how I want my business to go. This is what I want. That's you starting. But a lot of people, almost, if you think about it, everyone has a dream of some sort.
That is true.
But what makes you different from everyone else? What makes you different is that you become bold and you tell yourself that I'm going to start it. Rarely, yes, there will be thoughts that, what if it fails? But what if it doesn't fail? What if it actually works?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everyone has a dream of some sort. Just the difference between us is that some choose to pursue their dreams.
I agree.
And some choose to just have them being dreams and don't do anything about it.
Yeah, and that's what fear does to you. That's what fear does. Yeah, that's what fear does. It can be in the workspace. It can be in your own personal life, trying to figure out like that side hustle.
Yeah.
There's always, at the back of your head, there's always that voice that says, what if you fail? But actually, like you said, what if you did it? What if you actually won?
What if you actually become the best in it? It might be anything, but it's possible. You can become the best.
It's very, very possible. I mean, in my personal life, I know of a guy who literally makes anything work. Just from varsity with Sarge.
Yeah.
And he would make so much money from selling arch. He's traveling outside the province trying to sell arch to businesswomen and men. Then he went into photography. It also worked because he's just that person who there's no limit and he does not limit himself.
Yeah.
Especially immediately when he has an idea, he runs with it, And if it fails, it fails. But he knows he would have tried. So I think, the most important thing is to start.
Yeah.
True.
Well, there's this guy. His name is Sheldon. Okay, I don't know the surname. Sheldon Tatchell. Do you know him?
No.
He's the CEO of Legends Barbershop.
Okay.
Legends Barbershop, they cut hair.
Yes.
So when I discovered this guy, it was last year in December. And he's always traveling. He's always meeting with other stakeholders of different entities, doing all those things. And I'm like, it's very funny how this guy thought of something so small, but now it has become something that is generating so much money. There are franchises almost everywhere in South Africa.
Yeah.
If you go to Limpopo, there is franchises in Thohoyandou, in Polokwane. Let's not talk about Gauteng. The whole of Gauteng is Legends Barbershop everywhere. here in Durban is Legends Barbershop.
Yeah.
It's making a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's cutting hair. Everyone cuts hair.
True.
And almost, I mean, a lot of people can cut hair.
Yeah.
I grew up with friends who could cut hair.
Yeah.
But I asked myself, what does it take to grow something so small to become as big as what he has built?
Yeah.
It's all a matter of your mindset.
That is true.
It can be something that, to other people, it's something that's common.
Yeah.
It's easy to do. It's simple. But how you think about it,
that is true,
and how you think beyond that small thing is what will determine, the longevity and how far you go.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
That's very true.
If we're talking about, podcasting right now in South Africa, I've noticed that, and this is one of the things that inspired me to go ahead with the idea that God gave me.
Yeah.
Because this was not an idea that I just came up with. Was looking for something to do because I'm bored.
Yeah.
But it's an idea that I fully believe God brought it to me, and He gave me the name, the exact name that this is the name of the podcast that I want you to do, and this is how I want you to do it. And what motivated me was that when I looked into all other podcasts here in South Africa, I noticed that, okay, cool. Right now, people, they're not really doing something that is along the line of what I'm doing.
That is very true.
Most of the podcasts is, entertainment and everything. And that's okay.
Drama,
entertainment and drama.
Yeah.
And honestly, for their line of work, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, even us as people, we do need, drama sometimes. You just go and watch it, one drama episode there, here and there. But what motivated me the most is that, okay, this is a great idea that God gave me, and I'm going to go ahead with it because it's something unique.
That is true.
It's something that not many people do, and not many people pay attention to it.
True.
That's why it's even a bit harder. And I genuinely understand the hardship that I have to go through to build this brand, because people, especially in the internet, people are not looking for, things that, like, it's motivation, it's talking about serious stuff. People, they don't really pay attention to those things. Very few do. So it's kind of hard to build a brand around that. But it's a challenge that I said, okay, because God has given me this challenge, who am I to refuse? I'm going to take it with my hands and try by all means, to make it work. So it's always something special. And I believe that with everyone, there is something special that God has given you.
Absolutely.
It might not be something that, it's special to the society, but because it's you and God gave it to you, you may start it and it will serve a certain purpose in people's life.
True.
You know what I mean? So, I think with whatever you want to start, just start, man. Even though you are in corporate, even though you're working, just start whatever it is. It might be selling anything. Might be doing anything. Just start.
Absolutely.
Just start. So tell me, what do you want to achieve in the next 5 years?
So in the next 5 years, it's what I was telling you about, that it's in the pipeline. And in the next 5 years, also in the corporate space, I want to find myself in a managerial position. In the next 2 years, I'm going to discover what exactly in managerial position do I exactly want. But it's in the space which I'm currently in, logistics.
Okay.
And that's where I'm looking at in terms of career, in terms of career-wise. That's the entity that I want to start, or that I'm already working towards. And also, in terms of my professional space, that's where I'm looking at. And maybe also start a family.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, Mina, okay. You can ask me the same question. But for me, if we're talking about corporate, I don't know, man. Sometimes I think it's weird, but I know it's not weird. I don't really pay attention into getting a certain position. Like I don't have any dream to have a certain position in corporate.
Okay.
I mean, I just want to exist there. Honestly, I just want to practice engineering to work. But I think I'm in love more about the business side of engineering. That's purchasing and on supply and everything. Because I feel like those things I can learn a lot about business even when I'm working in corporate. But I don't really have that, vision of saying one day I want to be a manager or a CEO.
Yeah.
Not really. I don't really have that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem if they can keep me in a company as a junior engineer for 5 years. As long as my line of work is not the same thing every day.
Okay.
As long as I'm getting something and I'm being challenged every day. But position-wise, honestly, I don't really care.
So I think with position, it would depend on how you want to utilize the position. Some people want to utilize position for status. And some people want to utilize position for them to enable them to change some of the things that they always wanted to change.
Yeah.
Especially, as you walk into a space, then you realize, there are green areas, there are spaces where you feel as if things could be done better.
Yeah.
And in the end, you won't make everyone happy. But I do believe that majority of the times people spend is at work. And imagine having to go to work and when you wake up, the first thing you think about is, oh no, not this again.
Yeah.
Ideally, that's not a space that you want people to find themselves in. Not even yourself, you want to be in that space. So for me, I think if I'm aiming for a position, definitely there's a purpose behind why I'm aiming for that position. And that's how I decide to look at things. And even if I don't get it, I'm still content within the spaces that I find myself in, because then I have this mindset of saying, that means the purpose is not yet done with currently what I find myself doing. And until the purpose is done, then I'm going to move into a different space or into a different level. That's how I like to think about positions, honestly. The purpose it serves, because to a certain point you do become limited. You do become limited depending on where you are and what you can do. So if it happens that I'm in a certain position and I feel like I've reached the peak of it in terms of purpose, then I want to find myself moving into a position where I can even serve a greater purpose. Yeah. So yeah.
Are you a Christian?
Yes, I'm a Christian.
Well, thought as much. What would you say is God's purpose for your life?
I think to make a difference. It doesn't matter what type of difference it is, long as it does harm to none. I do believe that is my purpose. And even if it's to change the mindset, of someone from seeing things in a negative way to, them seeing things positively. I think that is really my purpose. I'm not so much into materialistic things. I believe living your purpose is living people feeling fulfilled and feeling content or feeling challenged to do better, to be better and act better. I think that for me is my purpose. If I leave someone in a space where they feel confident enough to actually chase after their dreams or to actually achieve something, then I would have served my purpose, and I'm more than happy with that.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And okay, it's something that is known, but have you ever realized that everything that happens in the world is by the people, about the people, and for the people?
Definitely.
Like every single thing, it's all about the people. But there are some people who kind of forget that everything that you're doing, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's working in the corporate, whether it's business or whatever. Anything, it's about the people.
Absolutely.
And for the people. So I think that's the kind of mindset that we should have, that in your purpose that you're serving, always think about the people.
Absolutely.
How are the people going to feel about this? Not to say people must inspire your actions.
That is true.
Or they must dictate what you do. No. You do what you do.
Yeah.
You do what you believe in, but always think that it's about the people. If you're starting a business right now, the business is not going to support itself. If you're selling something, you're not gonna buy it yourself. It's the people who needs to buy.
I agree.
If you're working in a manufacturing company, whatever you're manufacturing there, it's not cows that are going to buy those things. It's people.
It's people going to buy your
What I'm doing right now with this podcast, it's not dogs and cats that are going to sit and watch. It's people. You know what I mean? So I feel like we should all pay attention to this aspect of people.
Absolutely.
And making sure that what we deliver to people, it's something that will leave someone either motivated, inspired, and if then you can't save any of that, just leave them being normal and not being hurt by anything.
That is very true.
Because life is people.
Honestly,
life is people.
And I think the sooner we know that, the sooner we understand that, the better. Because there's nothing that you can sustain without people.
There's nothing.
Absolutely nothing you can sustain. There's no culture to sustain without the people behind it. And if culture is you introducing new technology, if culture is you starting a certain movement, it doesn't matter. You need people to really behind the vision, to really behind the purpose.
Yeah.
Because if it serves no one but yourself, then it's definitely not big enough.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So even if it's 5 people that it serves, let it serve them. Long as it has people railing behind that purpose or that vision, then that's all that matters.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered as when it's all said and done?
Oh my God, what I want to be remembered as. Honestly, I want to be remembered as someone who was never perfect, but they tried by all means to ensure that they live their life to the fullest, and they've moved into spaces the right way, and they left an impact. I think that's what I want to be remembered as. Someone who, who always saw behind fear, can be what I fear or can be what somebody else fears, but they always thought about the impact after removing fear of that specific something would do for others and for myself as well, especially for my family. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What do you want to be remembered as?
I want to be remembered as someone who cared for the society.
Yeah.
I want to be remembered as someone who brought value and brought hope to a society that had lost hope. Because I fully understand that there's a huge number of people who have kind of lost hope in our country, South Africa at large. Would say, this is our economy, this is how it's going to be always and everything like that. But I really aspire to be remembered as someone who played a part in reviving South Africa as a country. It might not be something massive. It might not be something that I made a change that became popular, that became known by people, that Vision built a mall. No, it might not be that. It might even be something that no one knows about it. But as long as I know myself before, it's all said and done, that I have done this and it has made this impact in the society, I'm good. That's what I want. And that little number of people who will know and will remember me through it.
True.
Because this person, he did this for our country, he did this for our community. That's what I want. And also my family. I mean, well, my family, when you say my family, like, so am I saying like I need to die before my parents, but
not at all.
But yeah, I'd love my family to remember me as someone who cared about them.
Yeah.
You know, because I pray that God let everything go naturally. That, you know, because I'm younger than my parents and everything, I you know, He may take them at the appropriate time. You know,
True.
I really want them to see me, you know, strike each and every potential and do everything that I desire to do. I really pray that God take them on an appropriate time according to Him.
Yeah.
And, you know, for my family, I really want them to remember me as someone who loves them, as someone who did everything that they desired and who really tried to show them love in every kind of a way. So, yeah. Also, I want to be remembered as someone who loves God, man.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing about me, because my life is nothing without God. If I mention anything and say there is no God in making this a success, I will definitely be lying.
Yeah.
Every single thing that I have, every single thing that I think about, every idea that I get, is not just me, it's God who is giving me the wisdom, and it's God who is guiding me throughout the whole way. So
absolutely,
I want to be remembered as someone who loves God.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. Pretty much that's it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Mogau. I'm really grateful that you came through today.
Thank you for having me.
I really had a great time
talking to you much. Here. Same here.
And yeah, I mean, I do understand that being in the male-dominated industry, it might not be as easy. But what I can just advise you is that don't be gullible and nonchalant about certain things. I feel like one thing that makes women go through so much and sometimes even get in a position where they're being abused is because they become nonchalant and they just, well, it's been happening. What would I do? And also, I'm not saying that, you know, go and say you're going to challenge the status quo or whatever and do anything extreme, but just know your value.
Absolutely.
If something doesn't align with your line of work, put a boundary. If something doesn't align with your values, put a boundary. Don't be gullible. Just do things for the sake of securing a job or whatever.
True.
That's what I would just love to say to you. And also,
thank you so much.
God bless you with everything that you're doing. And I know that you want to have a family in the next 5 years. So yeah, I really pray that God be with you and helps you to maneuver all the challenges with your partner and everything that you want. You know, may God grant that to you. And what you're working on, that is a secret. Just start whatever it is. Start. If you have started, just work on it going forward. That's what I can say to you.
Thank you so much, Vision. I also wish you the best of luck in your podcast. I think once people really understand the purpose behind Beyond the Vision, I think we can also, create future leaders using this type of podcast because we cannot all be doing the same thing. Then that means some of the purpose that we need to be serving in this world is lost somewhere, God knows where. And I really hope it does grow and it does elevate, really, reaches levels which you also never really thought about you wanting to reach. And it also reaches the right ears and the right eyes, because that's very important. For us to be able to propel our country, we need such spaces. We need the youth to start engaging in such topics, because I think that would be very helpful, especially as South Africans and Africans as well at large. So I really wish you the best of luck, and I know you're going to make it. I know you're definitely going to make it. It's only a matter of when.
God knows the timing. God knows the timing. Thank you so much, Mogau.
Thank you.